Hi everyone, my name is Joe Gardner. I'm the technical lead for Portworx in EMEA. So what is Portworx? So we are a cloud-native, i.e. container, data orchestration platform for OpenShift. So what that means is we integrate natively with the OpenShift platform, driven through all of the existing storage primitives in that platform. So storage classes, PVCs. And there are two things that we do within this data management platform that are unique, right? So the fact that we can do both together in the one platform is what kind of makes Portworx special. So the first thing is we have a set of capabilities around data operations. So this is really how you manage the life cycle of a container volume. And the second is this idea around data workflow. So how can we move data and applications between multiple OpenShift clusters, potentially running in separate regions or data centers, right? So why is this important? Well, increasingly, we're seeing stateful workloads being containerized and run in OpenShift, right? So some of the applications that we see our customers using, obviously databases, right? But increasingly big data workloads. We see lots of use cases around dev tooling, so things like your Jenkins, what you might call legacy databases, assuming no one from IBM is in the room. Sorry, I suppose most of the Red Hatters on that note. Sensitive subject. But look, these are the kind of stateful workloads that we validate for running on Portworx volumes, right? Cool, so let me go back to the 2 points. There are two things we do, right? Data operations and data workflow. So data operations is really addressing this question of how can I operate stateful applications, but do that with container volume granularity. So what I mean by that is, you could have potentially a Cassandra ring running across your OpenShift cluster. You could have volumes on different underlying block devices. How do you then take a snapshot with consistency across that whole cluster? Right? You need to be able to do that at exactly the same point in time for every member of that ring. So it's those kind of operations where you need to be able to operate on that container volume level, which is where Portworx comes into play, right? And it's not just snapshots. Oh, there we go. Go back one. Hopefully. There we go. So there's a whole set of capabilities that are sort of SAN-like. So all of these points, as I said, are on the container volume level. So we can do replication across the cluster for rapid failover of your stateful workloads. We have a fully automated snapshot and restore process, which can also be pushed off-site into object storage. Shared volumes allow you to have that read-write-many configuration, which is great for config sharing in Jenkins and content management systems. Per volume encryption with separate keys, very popular with financial services and government, as you can probably imagine. And a couple of other capabilities around operating the platform. Live resizing, for example. So then on the data workflow piece, so what we're seeing increasingly is that, there's no doubt that, we're productionizing our OpenShift platforms. And with that, now we have this standard development target in our businesses. We're now entering this multi-cloud, multi-cluster world, right? And so with that comes a whole new set of challenges around how can I migrate my applications and my data to another OpenShift cluster. So we have the ability to snapshot an entire group of container volumes, potentially an application stack or a clustered database. We can also extract the deployment manifests from the Kubernetes API and then ship the whole thing across to a second cluster and then bring it up. So essentially, driven through YAML, you can say, I want to move my Postgres database to a secondary cluster, maybe running in a cloud, apply the YAML spec. A few minutes later, it's up and running in the secondary cloud. Okay? Cool. So where does this fit into a business? Well, pretty much everyone that I meet with, whether it's a customer or someone testing Portworx, is talking about this, building a platform in their business, right? It's building that common deployment target where the developers can self-service and the platform team can just focus on their container platform. So we fit into that model as the data control plane. We sit on top of any underlying block, which means that you get the consistent provisioning experience, whether it's a SAN, local disk, cloud volumes. And as I said, we're driven through the native storage primitives of the container platform. Cool. And just to wrap up, providing a platform with those two kind of capabilities has driven a lot of adoption. These are some of our customers. These are all in production. And as you can see, these are not organizations who take data lightly, right? They will not accept data loss. And the fact that Portworx is in production in these organizations says a lot about the solution. Funnily enough, we have a booth as well. We're at the far end that way. So if you've got any questions about this or you want to see it running, come and say hello. Thank you very much.